Knuckles was tricked by the evil Dr. Mustache and was sent to Earth to find a magic emerald, and began a battle with Sonic. After a few clashes, the pair finally managed to overcome their differences and teamed up with Tails to defeat Robotnik's giant robot. In this way, Knuckles managed to recover his emerald and save the universe, as well as gain new friends. The three have decided to become roommates and, with the galaxy safe, Knuckles' only job is to unwind and enjoy the comforts of Earth. However, the Akita can't be satisfied with this peaceful life and is always looking for action. Seeing some workmen doing repairs on Maddie's house, Knuckles becomes convinced that an invasion is taking place and attacks them. The woman sees the workers are in danger and quickly goes out to assist them and apologizes for what has occurred, but the men leave in a rage. Knuckles sits in the shade of a tree after the hunt, and Maddie goes to speak to Sonic and Tails, as she knows there's no point in talking to the red alien. The woman then peers up at the roof and sees that Knuckles is on the roof with her dog. Tails has to go up there to bring AZ back while Sonic has a brief chat with his friend. The hedgehog tells Knuckles that he doesn't need to be a warrior anymore, and he should live on Earth. The Akita meditates on these words, and decides to change his behavior and begin to act as if he were on his home planet. The next morning, the animal sets up a throne and names himself the head of the family. Anyone wishing to replace him will need to challenge him to a fight. Maddie is angry when she discovers that Knuckles has transformed her living room into an arena. Then she finds out that her letter carrier has been taken prisoner and is being treated as a prisoner, and she gets even angrier. Maddie sets the poor man free and tells him that he can no longer be a warrior, and leaves Knuckles in the attic. Isolated from the rest of the family, Knuckles has a vision in which he meets Chief Peacock, who asks him what he should do now that he has finished his mission to recover the emerald. The old man tells him at this time to take an apprentice and teach him the ways of his people, so that the Akita tribe may be restored. Then Knuckles asks where to find this disciple, and Peacock points to Wade Whipple. The old man says that guy is special, and that he is interested in competing in a tournament of champions in Reno, Nevada. After advising Knuckles to train that man, the ghost of Peacock leaves, and the Akita says he won't let him down. In the meantime, Wade is working out to get ready for the bowling tournament, but he isn't sure he'll be going. At training, the man is surprised by Knuckles' arrival and tells him that he has been booted from his team. The truth is that he's been replaced by an 8-year-old girl called Susie because he's not tough enough to be accepted into the team. Knuckles tells him he will teach him to be a warrior, and Wade plans to use this ability to play a bowling game with Susie to get back on the team. While the pair are on their way to the training area, Agent Willoughby is in London at the headquarters of the GUN agency, watching Knuckles' every move. When she realizes that the alien has left the Green Hills area, the woman finds an opportunity to capture him and sends Agent Fairley to the Mushroom Planet. This way, he won't be able to report the situation to Commander Walters. As he makes his way to the bowling club, Knuckles discovers that it is not the same as he had expected, but soon finds that he is also an accomplished bowler. Then, Willoughby and Mason seem to take the Akita and obliterate the location in an instant. Knuckles runs towards his enemies and realizes that the duo are using gadgets that make them as powerful as he is. But, despite being at a disadvantage, the alien is able to defeat them because he has been trained his entire life as a warrior. In the battle, he approaches Mason to finish him off, but Willoughby creates a portal in the ground, trapping Knuckles in a cage. Then, when the villains leave, Wade realizes that his friend has been captured and decides to take the gun Willoughby forgot at the bowling club to rescue him. After capturing him, the agents take Knuckles to a mansion in the middle of the forest and are followed by Wade. But before he stormed the place to save his friend, the man decides to go to the convenience store to get the equipment he needs to do the rescue. In the meantime, Knuckles attempts to get information from Willoughby and asks him how the woman came to know about him. The agent at this point tells the audience that she is from an agency that specializes in studying and cataloging alien creatures. Her true objective is to steal and sell Knuckles' power, for she knows that Knuckles' energy can create very powerful weapons. The woman is unaware of Wade's presence outside, where he is preparing to break into the mansion, and that he has a pair of gloves that she had made. In attempting to deal with them, the man causes an accident, and his own car and all the equipment he purchased for the invasion are destroyed. The noise of the explosion attracts the attention of the agents, who appear on the balcony to see what's going on. Just then, Wade uses the turbines built into his gauntlet to break into the house and goes after him. After grabbing one of the gloves, the agent goes after Wade, as he is tasked with getting rid of the invader while Willoughby keeps an eye on the alien. In the battle, Mason gets a call from his mom and he chooses to answer it, knowing his opponent is distracted. Wade sprays ketchup in his eyes and Mason has an accident, causing him to lose consciousness. Wade then goes after Knuckles and throws the gauntlet to destroy the cage where his friend is trapped. Just then, a huge explosion destroys the mansion and immobilizes the enemy, but Wade and the alien manage to escape unscathed. They agree to go together and run off the cliff, and Knuckles jumps off with his partner on his back. However, the Akita can't fly, and they both end up falling. Once they get to the ground, the two steal a truck to get away and they stop to rest on the way to feed. Suddenly, Agents Willoughby and Mason wake up and begin to think of a new way to catch Knuckles. There is no point in giving up at this stage as they have already made $1 million deal to sell the weapons. The transaction was made with one of the most powerful criminal organizations in the world, which is run by a man. Hence, if the agents violate the agreement, they will be eliminated and the only thing they can do is to create a new capture plan. After dinner, the two friends hit the road again and hear an announcement on the radio that the authorities are looking for Wade. The man finds out he is being hunted, starts to panic, and he knows he can't go back to Green Hill, so he decides to visit his mother. After such a long time, Wendy faints when she sees her son. Though she is frightened, she is very pleased with Wade's presence. But when Wanda arrives, the confusion starts. Wanda is very content with her career as an FBI agent and degrades Wade for being a local cop. In an attempt to avoid an argument, Wade changes the subject and introduces Knuckles to his family. Wendy faints again when she sees the alien, but she agrees to let him stay in her house. The woman sets up a feast for her guest that night, but Wade and Wanda argue all night long. Furious, the FBI agent decides to go on the rampage and sticks a fork in her brother's arm. Tired of these taunts, Wade gets up and goes to his old room. When it's time, Wanda decides to do the same, and Knuckles is left alone with Wendy. After dinner, he goes to talk to his friend and finds out that his father was a great bowling champion and will be attending the tournament in Reno. Wade never ceased to admire Pete and always wanted to be closer to his father, even though he was abandoned by his family. When he was a child, Wade went to the bowling alley with him every Friday, and this is his happiest childhood memory. Wanda is reading a book in the living room that night as a gang comes to the house. The men have found out that anyone who catches Wade will get a reward, so they decide to go after him. But as one of the guys comes into the fugitive's room, he attacks him with a chandelier, but the blow doesn't seem to affect him. As Wade is about to be taken prisoner, Knuckles comes up to him and punches him so hard that he falls into the garden. Meanwhile, below, Wanda is attacked by an extremely skilled guy and is about to be hit by him when the alien appears. Immediately, Knuckles grabs the chain and makes a counterattack. He then knocks down the second invader and enters the kitchen where he assists Wendy in attacking the other two invaders. Although her house was completely destroyed, the woman is grateful to have her children reunited after so many years and is happy to see her family coming together to take care of each other. The following morning, Wade is sure that the threat has subsided and that he can venture out for his cup of coffee. He suddenly finds himself being kidnapped by a strange biker and taken through the streets of the neighborhood. Seeing his friend being taken away, Knuckles decides to let him fend for himself, knowing that this is an extremely important skill for a warrior. He soon arrives at a lonely section of the road and the biker decides to stop and wait. He knows that he is being kidnapped by the head of his bowling team, Jack. The man then stuns the former member of his team and chains him up in a cage. On waking, Wade is angry and can't believe that his best friend let him down like that. Seeing Wade begging to be released, Jack reveals that he is having financial difficulties and needs the reward money to get back on his feet. Determined to change his life, the man goes to great lengths. To get the money he needs to pay off his debts, even if it means locking his best friend in a cage with electric bars and handing him over to the police. While on his way to the police station, Wade comes to the conclusion that there's nothing he can do but wait for Knuckles to arrive because only the alien can rescue him. Then he gets a call from Knuckles and he finds out that he can't rely on Knuckles' help because he says that Wade will have to do this on his own to become a warrior. On the way, Jack turns on the cage's power supply to electrocute his prey, and Wade faints. He is unconscious when he is visited by the Chief Peacock and he soon discovers that it is the legendary leader of the Akita tribe. The old man doesn't teach Wade how to fight. He sends him into a musical battle against Jack, and when he defeats Jack, he decides to go back to the real world because he thinks he's found a way out of that cage. However, when he tries to destroy the door, the man ends up being electrocuted again and once again is taken back to his subconscious to continue his training. This time, Wade does find what he's looking for and somehow manages to get out the roof of the cage. Jack realizes that his prey has managed to escape and climbs out of his limousine to capture him, and Wade challenges him to a duel. After throwing a sword at at his opponent, the man gets on his motorcycle and advises him to find a vehicle. Jack catches sight of a bunch of kids standing by the side of the road, wheeling their bikes, and somehow manages to borrow the bike and pedals toward his enemy. As he approaches, Wade attacks him with a sword blow, but the man ducks and manages to survive. However, he ends up losing most of his hair. Then he falls to the ground and decides to surrender after giving the winner of the duel his leather jacket. Jack runs away and Wade rides his opponent's bike back home. Seeing his friend arrive with a victorious look on his face, Knuckles feels proud of him and realizes that Wade is ready for battle after proving himself to be a true warrior. The man proves himself worthy to go to Reno, and Knuckles goes with him. When they reach their final destination, the pair come across the National Bowling Stadium, which for Wade is a real battlefield. Upon entering the building, Wade comes across his mother and sister, who have come to watch the championship. A few minutes later, the two approach the stands and the man goes to find his father, one of the most popular people in the stadium. While Pete is signing autographs for his fans, Wade approaches him to talk, but the man doesn't recognize him. But as the man introduces himself, Pete discovers that he is in front of his son and tells him that he missed him. The man laughs when he learns that Wade is going to participate in the bowling tournament, since he doesn't think that his son can outdo him. Meanwhile, Agents Mason and Willoughby are captured and taken to the HQ of the criminal organization to whom they sold the weapons. Just then, an ex-employee who used to work for Robotnik shows up to collect his debt, and the agents ask for more time to capture Knuckles, as he still needs the Akita to complete his new creation. The man decides to let them go, but says that Mason and Willoughby will only be paid for capturing Knuckles with the right to live. The Tournament of Champions is to start and 32 teams are getting ready for the tournament. Surprisingly, in the very first round, Wade's team stands out. Pete is proud of his son, but he can't help but show off to the public and prove his amazing talent on camera. When he hears the fans shouting his father's name, Wade realizes that he has a great responsibility and does his best to try to match his great idol. As the competition gets closer to the end, the only two teams remaining are Pete's and his own, and he can't accept the idea of losing to his own son. The grand final will take place the next day, so that evening Wade decides to spend some time with his father. In the course of the discussion, he asks the man why Pete left, and the man replies that he had to leave because he was seeking fulfillment. According to Pete, at the time, he believed that he would only achieve his goal on the bowling lane, but today he regrets not having stayed by his family's side. Father and son hug at that moment, and Wendy is touched by the moment, but she knows that by getting close to Pete, Wade may be in danger of being hurt again and tries to warn him. Despite this, he resolves to give his father one more chance and visits his father at his penthouse that night. Wade is impressed by the sight of that beautiful apartment and joins Pete on a tour of the penthouse. However, when he arrives at the suite, he comes across the agents who tried to capture Knuckles and discovers that his mother and sister are being held prisoner. When asked why he has betrayed his family once again, Pete says that there is only room for one Whipple in that town, and he doesn't want to risk losing his prestige to Wade. So Pete suggests that his son hand Knuckles over to the agents and drop out of the tournament. Otherwise, Wendy and Wanda will be eliminated. Wade has no other option but to go meet his alien friend and lies to Knuckles to get him to come with him to the penthouse. Wade says he needs to get something from his room, and will find the Akita just above, rather than taking the elevator up with him. Knuckles takes the elevator up, not suspecting that his friend is setting him up, when Mason and Willoughby await him. The elevator doors open and the agents begin to shoot, but Knuckles isn't hit because he is hiding in the ceiling. The reality is that Wade gave one of the headsets to the alien before he got in the elevator, and Knuckles heard the entire conversation. Thanks to this strategy, the Akita was able to prepare for battle and attack the enemies with its powerful punches. During the fight, Wade uses the stairs to break into the apartment in order to free his mother and sister. Realizing that he can't defeat the alien even with his partner's help, Willoughby throws two rings in its direction to try and transport it. But Knuckles sends the objects away, and at that moment, two portals open, sucking in everything around them. To avoid being taken, the Akita has to cling to the ceiling and manages to save itself. However, Mason and Willoughby aren't as lucky and end up falling into their own trap. The two portals merge and vanish, and Knuckles joins Wade in the stadium, where the alien is more than ever eager to see his friend succeed in the tournament. Meanwhile, the presenters announce Pete's triumphant entrance, and he is sure he will win another trophy to add to his collection. The presenters then call Wade to the ring, but he doesn't show up. Pete is proclaimed the grand champion, as he should be, but then his opponent steps on the scene. The man has his heart set on dethroning his father and embarrassing him in front of the public, but Pete Pete doesn't want to be defeated and musters all his talent to win the match. But Wade will not be deterred and is no match for him. Knuckles doesn't want to join the crowd and decides to watch the game on TV, and then he sees a commotion outside the stadium. On his way out, he ends up being captured by a giant robot, which this time is being controlled by Gary, Robotnik's former employee. The tournament is winding down, and Wade is just a few steps away from beating his father, while the alien is being tossed around. If he can get a strike on the next shot, he will be the big winner. Wade is nervous, but he makes a good throw and knocks down all the pins in one, and wins. Just then, Knuckles' body goes through the wall, and everyone notices the attack. As the crowd runs in terror, Wade runs to aid his friend, but it's too late, as Gary absorbs all the power from the alien. After getting what he wanted, the man throws the alien's body away, and Wade realizes that he is unconscious. As he was about to be eliminated, Wendy and Wanda came out with a pair of mechanical gloves. With his equipment in hand, Wade throws bowling balls at the enemy. As the balls run out, Gary sees an opportunity to attack him, but at the same time, Knuckles gets up and sucks the tentacles back into him, returning all the energy to Knuckles. When the alien regains his powers, he crushes the enemy's tentacles and, with the aid of Wade, he is able to crush the enemy. At the end of the battle, Wade picks up his trophy and celebrates his victory with his friend while Wanda and Wendy teach Pete a lesson. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, leave a comment about your favorite movie, and we will make it next. Thanks for watching.